There is a reality that we have to live with if we're African American men and Latino men too. That is that we can literally be doing nothing wrong. Nothing. And you still may have to deal with problems from the police. Because someone else thinks you're doing something wrong and they report you. I don't know of any martial arts technique or approach that can really do anything about handling that. Because that's not a problem they had to deal with when they came up with the systems that we study now. And even people who are inventing their own systems now, is there a racism form or pattern that you can walk through that's going to help you deal with these situations? The only thing you can do is try to remain calm and, hope you don't get beaten too badly in some instances. I guess our training can condition us to take blows, because if we fight back, then we're going to be the bad guy until we're actually proven to be innocent. So I know I've given tips about what to do when you're stopped by the police, and I have done some of those things, and they've actually worked for me. But I do know that it is possible for me to not be doing anything wrong and still have to deal with cops. Because I've been accosted by cops several times for practicing my forms in public. I feel like, it's nice. No, let me go through my forms like people do Tai Chi in the park, right? So I figure I could do forms in the park. Wrong answer for an African American man. More than twice. I can't even count how many. I just stopped keeping track of it after a while. Somebody's going to come up. So I guess someone feels uncomfortable, and then they call the cops. And then a cop comes up to me, what are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Questioning me because I'm practicing forms. Now, the worst thing that happened to me was not a cop, believe it or not. The worst thing that happened to me, and this was about 20 years ago now. I'm on park property, but the park was near somebody's house. So, I wasn't on their property. But you know what happened? The woman was walking her dog on a trail. So, I found out from her father, who came out there and had to be the voice of reason for her. I'm getting a little head in the tail. You know what this woman did, this young woman? Not that young, really. Younger than I am now, though. She sicked her dog on me, right? So, this is when I was studying Taekwondo. So I think I was going through Nihonchi, which we call Chulji in the Korean arts. So I'm doing salute, going down. I was either doing Nihonchi or I was doing what I'd call Po-un now, but they call Pinan, Shodan, or Idan, depending on your style. It was either one of those, because I was like this or something. And she sends her dog after me. Second, right? I'm not making this up. Just because there's no YouTube link doesn't mean it didn't happen. So she sends her dog after me, right? And the dog is running. Fortunately, it was far enough away and I heard her that I had plenty of time and it was only one dog. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to kick this dog's jaw into the stratosphere. But because I was thinking and actually breathing and practicing tenets and whatnot, I heard this panting, and I'm like, I was like, is there somebody behind me? So no, the panting's coming from the dog. So the dog gets up to me and going, like it's got asthma, and then it stops in front of me. This dog is old. It could have still hurt me, right? But the dog's old, and it stops, and it's panting, and then it goes to look, and I looked right in the dog's eyes, right? I showed no fear, and I was ready in a stance to kick it. And then the dog looks at me like, please don't hurt me. And so I just nudged the dog away and told her, lady, you ain't get your dog killed. What are you doing? And she just starts going, all these people, these kids were on our property last night, and they did it. And I said, look, ma'am, I had nothing to do with that. That has nothing to do with me. And I just kept saying it over and over again. Well, they did this and they. I was like, I had nothing to do with that. That has nothing to do with me. What with these black kids? And I was like, I'm not a child, and I had nothing to do with that, and that had nothing to do with me. And then her father comes up. Of course, he's coming up there like, what are you doing to my daughter with that kind of posture? And then he stopped, and I guess he kept hearing me say over and over again, you need to stop. That has nothing to do with me. And I said, look, I'm sorry for about whatever they did to your property. They left beer bottles or whatever, but I had nothing to do with that. That had nothing to do with me. Now, I could have been shot or something like that if the guy was a maniac. So he finally comes up there and says, I say, look, this is, who, do you know her? Oh, that's my daughter. So, your daughter sicked her dog on me, and the dog is old, too, really. I mean, she's going to get this thing hurt. And she's going to get hurt herself. She's bothering me about something that somebody else did. And then I talked to the guy. I said, look, I just want to practice. I'm not trying to do anything. He said, well, just go a little bit further down the trail, man, and she won't see you, and it'll be fine. I just went further down the trail, and nobody bothered me. So, is there a form for that, though? No, there's no form for that. That's nothing that my training, the martial arts training, can really prepare you to deal with. I guess the best way, if you're going to deal with something like that as a martial artist who is African American, if you want to learn how to handle stuff like that, you got to talk to your elders in your tribe, in your clan. Talk to your old people. And some of us who are getting old, who've dealt with stuff like that, take our tips. And, oh yeah, I know some of you hate Christianity or whatever, but pray to God, because, thank God this was before the age of cell phones, because she, what she could have done? She could have made a frantic call to the police, right? This guy's in, and then I'd be out there, and then next thing I know, I'm practicing the sidekick, and then I'm getting hit over the side of my head because the cops are coming at me, or they just come at me with guns drawn because she called it in. And I want you to keep this in mind. This happened to me, and I live in a predominantly black county. This place is where I live is supposed to be Shangri-La for black people. And I still had to deal with something like that. While I'm practicing martial arts, who knows? My students are all races. I've trained every race that's in this area. I can end up training one of her relatives. I probably have, let me see, I probably have trained somebody that she knows some kind of way. But yet she sees this black dude not bothering anybody, just trying to practice by myself, not even waving a sword around or nothing. God help the brothers that want to work out with a sword in public. I don't know what they're going to do. But that's why now I'm glad I have a space in my house where I can practice my forms. But that was the worst thing. And that was not a cop. That was not a man. That was a woman that did that. And if you click the link below, it's going to link to a story of a man, a black man, who got thrown down by the police because he was fixing his own car. Fixing his own car. And then got in and drove his own car. This is similar to the story of the guy he was in Walmart and somebody called. So again, despite everything I tell you to do, like if you get stopped by the police and, be calm and things like that, you can still end up in trouble because somebody said you did something and you were doing nothing wrong.